This program is made possible in part by a production grant from Phillips Buick GMC.
Want to save money servicing your vehicle? Visit Phillips Buick GMC, your Buick GMC certified service dealer. For oil changes, tire repairs, or maintenance, you get more than fast, reliable service. You get fair pricing and quality work done the first time by factory-trained technicians you can trust. And with 48 service bays, no appointments are necessary. Phillips Buick GMC, your Buick GMC certified service dealer, just south of the Villages.
Welcome to Leesburg High Sports Buzz. I'm your host, Ashley Hunt. I'm here with Coach Randy Trivers, head coach of the Yellow Jackets. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing fantastic.
Well, we had a good homecoming victory last week. I think it was a 35-7 victory. I know the community was excited about it. I know the team was excited about it. But since this is our first week, before we get into the highlights from that show, I'd like to kind of go back and recap a little bit on the season as to where we were and where we are now, and what we're looking forward to, and then get into the highlights from last week's game. So I guess the first game was Tavares Bulldogs. The Jackets kind of got off to a slow start, but were able to come back with a pretty sound victory. I think it was a 24-0 victory at Tavares. It came back the following week. I believe it was Eustis, and that was the game that never ended. We ended up with a rain delay, a lightning delay. Actually skipped halftime, came back out. And we're able to actually come behind, win. I think it was 21-20 was the final score.
That's correct. That's correct.
And then a couple weeks ago, Mount Dora at home wasn't our best performance, and ended up losing that battle. And then Eastridge last week was a heck of a game. I wish we would have had the highlights from that because, not that we played great, but we showed great resolve. And we're able to come back in a high school football game down 22 points in the fourth quarter. We're able to come back and tie up the game and take it in overtime. Unfortunately, ended up losing that game as well. And then obviously this week, the highlights we're getting ready to get into: the St. Cloud Bulldogs homecoming big victory, 35-7 victory, brings us to the record for the season of 3 wins, 2 losses, and I think we're 1-0 in the district. So last week, big game, right? The community was excited. I know I've seen you and the boys riding down the float homecoming parade. Tell us about a little bit about your thoughts going into the game and how you approached it.
Well, it's been, as you said, a dramatic season in terms of some of the wins and losses. And one thing I'm really proud of is the way our teams resolve, the way that we've been able to deal with some adverse situations in the middle of games, coming back from down 21 against Eustis to win that game, down 21 in the first quarter. Of course, down 21 in the fourth quarter against East Ridge, and we were able to take the lead in overtime. Unfortunately, it didn't go our way. But, going in, to answer the question, going into this week's game, just hope that we can put it all together for 4 quarters. And I think for the first time this year, we played more consistent football for 4 quarters. Now, I say that, but as you know, the first quarter, something took place that I've never seen in my time in football, and that's our offense did not get on the field in the entire first quarter. But the homecoming festivities are always a lot better, and you can enjoy them a lot more when you win the football game. So it was nice for our players and our staff to prepare well despite some of the different festivities and distractions that may happen over the course of that week, and to go out there and get a good solid win, because we were concerned about some of those things. Yeah,
I'm sure the distractions, they had the parade, the powder puff game, and dress crazy day or whatever.
The dance, of course, on Saturday night.
All the guys nervous about asking their dates to go to the dance.
That's right.
But all those distractions, I know as a coach that's something that's got to be weighing on your mind, and making sure the boys are staying focused, especially coming off of that kind of heartbreaking loss the week before. But getting into the highlights, the Bulldogs, St. Cloud Bulldogs, get the ball to start the game, and unlike weeks past, things worked out great for the Jackets to get out of the gun. I think it was 2 or 3 plays into the first drive. St. Cloud goes to set up what appeared to be, I think we got a clip of it here, but what appeared to be a screen pass, and I believe it was
Jordan Tucker.
Jordan Tucker intercepted the ball and took it to the house.
Yeah, Jordan has had a sensational year thus far, and you see him right there, just really diagnosing that the screen, was able to make an athletic play and leaping up and grabbing the catch, and then sprinting into the end zone there with his teammates, and that was even though we did not get on the field offensively in the first quarter, we were able to score with Jordan there, and Jordan's, as I said, has had a great year. I think he's leading our team with 12 sacks in the first 5 games, and has done a great job.
I know I've had a chance to interview him on the radio show that we do, and he seems like a fine young man, and is a heck of a player. I mean, he's all over the field. Every week he's all over the field making plays.
Indeed, indeed. We hope he can keep doing that.
So the ensuing drive, St. Cloud did get the ball, and it was the drive that never ended. They're able to march the ball down the field. I think they had 6 or 7 first downs, and ultimately made it to, I think, to score a touchdown in the second quarter. I think it was probably 2 minutes into the second quarter before they scored. I looked at my notes, and it seems like they had the ball for about 14 straight minutes. I'm sure you know better than I do, but it was a very long possession, methodical possession. They didn't throw the ball at all, I don't think. I think they ran the ball every play. If they did throw it, they snuck one in on me. But they were ultimately able to score on that drive. Yeah.
They're a good football team, and we remember them from last year. We won a tight ball game, 38-36, and the running back that they have is just a powerful, strong runner. And I think they're going in, their game plan was to really slow the game down and try to just milk the clock. And in the first quarter, they did a great job of just waiting for that thing to wind down to the very last second on the play clock, snap the ball, and they kept converting on third downs in that drive, and they kept it going there for a little while. Just fortunately, our defense didn't give up the big play this week, and that's why we were able to keep the score down and eventually got our offense on the field and got some points on the board.
I tell you what, the offensive line in St. Cloud had, particularly the center. I didn't have a program to see the height and weight and all that, but that was a big kid.
Oh yeah. They had some gargantuans up front there. They had some big fellas.
And I think that the difference in the game, at least part of the difference in the game, would have been the conditioning and the fact that I think they had quite a few guys playing both ways. And when you have long, sustained drives like that, and when you have guys that are coming in fresh on the Yellow Jacket side, and on St. Cloud they're having to play both ways, I think that shows a lot from a coaching standpoint, but also from a resolve standpoint for our kids to have the conditioning and the planning to just wear the other team down.
Yeah, I think that definitely helped us, and I think St. Cloud, again, talented team. I think their coaching staff had a very good plan, but I would agree with you. I think our kids did a very nice job of just keeping the pressure on them and eventually, wearing them down a little bit.
So Leesburg gets the ball for the first time offensively. We had the defensive touchdown, but offensively we get the ball for the first time early in the second quarter. And we're able to come out and make a couple. I think Falconer, number 81, Adrian Falconer, had a big catch. But not much happened on that drive. I think there's a clip of it there.
Yeah, that's just Andre making a nice throw on the comeback route and on the deep out there, and Adrian. One thing he's been doing a very nice job of this year is catching the ball and getting yards after the catch. And you see him right there. He's a guy that doesn't dance around a lot, but he can make you miss and go. So that was a nice play right there on that particular drive.
So not able to make much out of that drive. Ended up with a snap on the punt that went over the punter's head. He was able to pick it up and run the ball, but not for a first down. So St. Cloud ends up with the ball back with about 6 minutes left in the game. And it was on that possession that you guys, I didn't get a chance, the benefit that you've had of watching the game film, but it dodged a bullet. I think there was about a 26-yard touchdown that was run on 3rd and short, but it was called back on holding, I believe, on St. Cloud. And we were able to finally catch a break for once this season, as opposed to being the ones on the other side of those calls.
Yeah, no, it's I guess, over the course of the year, those things kind of tend to even themselves out. You never want to be the coach or the team or the players that are complaining about, penalties this, penalties that, and, we lost or didn't win because of this or that. But those things tend to even themselves out, and good teams seem to have a way of overcoming those things. And that's what we're trying to be, a good football team that can overcome some of those penalties.
So Leesburg gets the ball back with about 4 minutes left in the half, and Jefferson comes up with a huge play. There was a nice scramble by Mitchum that resulted in a pass to Benton, I believe. and ultimately capped off with a Mitchum touchdown quarterback sneak.
Yeah, that was Brian Jefferson there on the catch. And then here's, Andre Mitchum on a very, very nice run, big first down run there. You see him with the nifty spin move, right? And Andre's done a nice job of here where you see him make this pass to Brian Benton, of just being able to be patient, elude the rush. Devontae Jacobs and those guys up front did a great job of protecting him all night. I think Andre was not sacked all night, and very big play there. But those things happen, because of the total team effort. We see the great throw by Dre, great route by Brian Benton there, and Brian Jefferson earlier. But those guys up front, Devontae Jacobs and the crew, they're doing a nice job making those things happen.
Gave him the ability to do that, and from where I was, and even from watching the film again, it looked like Benton might have creeped in there, but nonetheless they marked the ball on the 1 yard line, and it was ultimately capped off by a Mitchum touchdown. So you go into the half up 14-7. I'm sure you have nice words for the boys when you go in there, and hopefully you're feeling good about your prospects in the second half based on what you'd seen.
Yeah, we were just a little frustrated in terms of the first quarter from an offensive standpoint, not really getting an opportunity to really get in sync, not to really get any rhythm going at all, because we didn't get out on the field. But it was nice to have the lead despite that. And then, we just were looking to try to, with the longer halftime, with it being with the homecoming festivities at halftime, just making sure that the coaches, put together a real strong plan for the second half, and then relay that information to our players and our kids, and then go out and hopefully really, go out and really take control of the game. 14-7 is the lead, but as 7 points. It can turn like that. So it was nice for us to go out there and start it up in the second half and do a nice job expanding on that lead.
So the Jackets get the ball to start the second half. Weren't able to do much, and actually ended up having to punt the ball away. But once again, unlike prior weeks, and like you said, they probably balance out over the course of a year. But unlike prior weeks, there's a mental error by the St. Cloud Bulldogs. One of their players touched the ball, and the Jackets are able to catch a break and pick the ball back up and keep that possession alive. In that, I don't think we have a highlight of it, but in that possession, I think it was Bennett, maybe number 15, had a heck of a one-handed catch. Mitchum had a heck of a scramble and ended up tossing the ball downfield for a huge gain. Unfortunately, they said that he was past the line of scrimmage and it ended up being called back. But once again, we catch a break. We're moving the ball fairly well. You got to not be, other than the penalty, being across. You can't blame the player. He's trying to make a play and making a good effort. Maybe a mental error there, but nonetheless trying to make a play. But you still got to be feeling pretty good about what you're seeing.
Well, yeah. When the two plays you mentioned were both excellent plays. The one-handed catch by Bennett on the throw from Andre was a great play. Unfortunately, that was actually called back due to a penalty. And then we had the other nice scramble throw and catch, which would have been a heck of a play. And the linemen were just over the line, and it's hard for those guys to know if the quarterback's going to run or throw at that point when we reverse field. So it's hard. That's a tough one. But it was that drive was sort of for us as a program and as a coaching staff, we're making some good plays, but whether it's the tough penalty or the penalty that, because we had about we were heavily penalized there for some things in that game. Actually, both teams. Mm-hmm. There's quite a few penalties in that game, from holding and so forth, holding penalties. So we got to go back to the drawing board as far as making sure we're coaching the proper technique with our young men, as far as making sure we can negate some of those penalties in the future.
So St. Cloud gets the ball for the first time in the second half, and to me, as a fan watching the game, I felt like that was a big possession. It was St. Cloud's first possession of the second half. Based on the way the first half had gone, I thought in my head, and I even made a comment on the radio when I spoke with those guys, that was a big possession, because if St. Cloud was, the way the game was going, if they were going to do anything, it was going to take them a while to score based on the offense that they had run in the first half. And I just felt as though if the Jackets, having the lead that they had at that point in time, were able to stop the Bulldogs on that possession and then come back and capitalize on that with a touchdown, that you really had to like our odds. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it's where you're absolutely right. Their style of play in that game, they were going to try to keep it as close as they could, milk as much off the clock as they could. And if we could get a 2-touchdown cushion at any point, then I think that would bode well for us in terms of them not necessarily being able to strike as quickly with their game plan going in and what they were trying to accomplish.
So Leesburg gets the ball back. You're driving it down the field, and then there's a third and short called run to Mitchum. I think we have a clip of it. But a third and short called run, Mitchum was able to take the ball, I believe, all the way to the house for a touchdown.
Yeah, this is a heck of a play right there. It's blocked up real well, and then the O-line got Andre the first 7 or 8 yards, and then Dre made a couple of great moves on the guys in the secondary to make some guys miss, and then take it all the way to the end zone. You see, Dre and actually Devontae Jacobs right there next to him, hustling down the field trying to get another block. So it was great to see that.
Definitely a great team effort. You love to see all the Jackets out there leading the way and getting blocks downfield, and not loafing on a play like that. When the ball gets in front of them, they were all chasing after and trying to make things happen. You come back and do something I think that caught everybody a little off guard, an onside kick. I'm sure it's something you guys had seen in film review, and it was actually a heck of a kick from my standpoint, at least. I mean, it was a good kick. We weren't able to execute and get the ball, but it was a heck of a there's a clip from the.
Yeah, the kick prior to this was definitely executed well by James Eldridge. Something we had seen on videotape. We thought we could get it in the right situation, and that was the situation. Up 2 scores. We felt like that'd be an opportunity to get it, and unfortunately, we just didn't execute with the recovery. But yeah, the kick was in the right place. We just didn't come up with it, and then our defense did a nice job of holding there. And you saw some nice plays there by some of our guys, Jermaine Gaston and Jordan Tucker and the crew on defense, doing a great job there in the second half.
Yep, and that led us into the fourth quarter of that possession that we just saw the great defensive highlights from. Leads us into the fourth quarter on a 3rd and 24. I believe it was number 81 Falconer that came up with a big, I believe it was a touchdown.
Yeah, this is a huge play here. Andre going down. We had Adrian in some one-on-one coverage down the sideline, and they've done a nice job this year hooking up on some big plays. And Adrian, made the catch. Nice adjustment to the ball, and then was able to sprint in the end zone and finish it up. So it was, I think, a 78-yard touchdown throw and catch and run from Mitchum to Falconer.
And that put the Jackets up 28-7. I can tell you it was a pretty gutsy call. I mean, not that the game was necessarily close at that point in time, but I think the entire other team and the entire crowd was looking for either a run or some type of screen play, something you typically see on a 3rd and short. And you guys took a shot at it downfield and ended up paying dividends. Big time.
Yep, broke it open.
So St. Cloud gets the ball back, not able to do much on offense the rest of the game, for that matter. But there was a big touchdown play by number 87, Trey Bisbee, who we haven't seen too much out of this year, but it was nice to see him get a touchdown. This was some of the defensive stops, I think, that we had in the interim.
Yeah, that's one of our co-captains, Jermaine Gaston, making a great play right there for tackle for a loss. And then this is the play you're speaking of, Trey Bisbee getting a nice touchdown catch there from Lee Bennett, who stepped in to play quarterback there in the fourth quarter a little bit for Andre. So it was it was nice. It was nice to see, Trey, who's a guy that I think has the ability to help us out there at receiver, and Lee got a chance to throw that ball a little bit. So it was nice to see some guys do some different things for us, and you see how versatile a guy like Lee Bennett is for us.
Yeah, it was a heck of a catch. He really went up and got it and earned it. It wasn't given to him. He went up there and took the ball and owned it and was able to score. So we're able to come away with a 35-7 victory. Victory bells ringing in the stands. Alumni are all there. Everybody's happy. I know the atmosphere after the game was great. And I think the boys have the homecoming dance on Saturday night now instead of Friday night. Back in the day, we used to do it on Friday night, but they get to rest Friday night and go to the game Saturday night, and I'm sure many of them enjoyed those festivities. You brought a couple players here with you today.
Yes, indeed. We have both Andre Mitchum, who we saw making a lot of the plays there at quarterback, and Andre's 3rd year as a starter in our program, is doing a sensational job this year of leading our offense from the quarterback position. And then we've got Devontae Jacobs, who's here. And Devontae Jacobs is a captain of our football team, and he plays right guard. And boy, he's the heartbeat of that offensive line, and is really his steadfast leadership is something that his teammates and the coaches are always appreciative of and looking to him for that leadership. So those two guys are here representing the program, two fine representatives of our program here.
Definitely great players. Well, Coach, I'm going to spend a couple minutes talking to them, and then when we're done, I'm going to come back and speak with you for a few minutes on this week's upcoming game on Lake Minneola. I don't even know what their mascot is. It's a fairly new school, but Lake Minneola High School, and get your thoughts on this week's coming up game, and then have a few parting comments and be out of here. So let's take a break for a minute, and we're going to speak with Andre Mitchum and Devontae Jacobs. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thank you.
All right, we're back with Leesburg quarterback Andre Mitchum. Mitchum, I think you're a junior, correct? Not a junior in school, but Andre Mitchum Jr.
Yes, sir.
And your father was a heck of a player for Leesburg High School years ago.
Yes, sir.
I've heard a lot about him. And you're obviously the quarterback of the team, and you've had a pretty good season thus far. I know that last week you had a couple of huge plays, touchdown. Tell us a little bit about what you like about playing quarterback.
I just like leading the team and like all my peers looking up to me and looking for me to make plays. So it's kind of like a lot of pressure. So I like the pressure going into games.
I guess being a quarterback, you would need to like pressure.
Yes.
Last week's game was a homecoming game, and I know that it meant a lot to you guys to go out and get a homecoming victory, especially after the kind of bitter loss you had the week before. You and the guys enjoy the game, the post-game celebration?
Yes, we like it because it's like we're winning basically for our school. I mean, a lot of kids that don't really come to all the games, they come to that game. So we're playing for more than just ourselves. So we're basically winning for the community and all the students.
That's right. And you're a senior this year?
Yes, sir.
And are you a pretty good student?
Yes, sir.
What kind of GPA do you have?
I got a 4.2 weighted and a 3.5 unweighted.
Wow, 4. I didn't know you could go past 4.0, so you're really getting it done in the classroom as well. Any plans next year? Any prospects?
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to playing collegiate ball, Division I. So.
And you're a basketball player too,
yes,
as well,
sir.
right? You prefer one over the other?
Kind of in between. So.
Both sports people, a Charlie Ward type,
yes, sir.
Multi-sport, talented athlete. Well, Andre, I appreciate you coming in here today. You had a heck of a game. I'm looking forward to a Yellow Jacket victory this week at Lake Minneola.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully we'll be able to go out there and keep this momentum going and get back into the district and start winning some games. All right, we're back with our second player guest of the day, Devontae Jacobs, senior guard for the Yellow Jackets. Devontae, how you doing?
I'm doing very good. How are you?
I'm doing great. A heck of a victory last week against the St. Cloud Bulldogs, and I know you're one of those, I hate to call you ugly, but big ugly guys that get in there and make those things happen. You like being a guard?
Yes, sir. You know, it's a fun position for me, and, you know, I just love doing it with my senior crew, you know, just, you know, going out with a bang for our senior year.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have had a lot of blood, sweat, and tears through the years, especially down on that offensive line. It's an often underappreciated position, but needed. You know, we just spoke with Mr. Mitchum, and but for the fact that you're up there making plays for him, he wouldn't be able to have his name in the headlines and the highlights that we just saw.
Yes, sir. He's a good kid. I mean, you know, I'm like his right hand man. I protect him from the front side. You know, and he just like playing his position. You know. Even though we really don't get up that much credit for it or whatever, but I just love doing what I'm supposed to do, you know, just doing it for the team.
Kind of that blue-collar mentality, just getting it done, making plays and not getting the credit for doing it, but nonetheless making it happen.
Yes, sir.
And you're a senior this year, just like Mr. Mitchum was?
Yes, sir.
And any plans for next year?
I plan to go on to college, you know, try to make something of myself, you know, do good, you know, just trying to live, you know, free adult life.
Sounds like you're well on your way. I know that Coach Shriver speaks very highly of you. He and I have had a chance to speak on multiple occasions, and it really sounds like you're one of the anchors of that offensive line that make things happen. As far as I asked Mr. Mitchum about the homecoming celebration. Did you guys, I'm sure, you know, after that bitter loss you had the week before, were a joy in the locker room and you know, just happy as can be after being having a heart-wrenching loss the week before.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I've had the kind of mentality to just, let the guy just stay focused, do what you're supposed to do. I mean, you win on the practice field, you're winning the game. And I speak, Coach Travers, I speak highly of it, and I bought into it, let the guys know that this is for real. We can do this.
And it's hard to be distracted if you don't take your eye off the prize. And it sounds like you guys have your eyes right there. We're heading into a big district matchup this week, so hopefully we'll have a lot to talk about next week. I appreciate your time. Keep getting it done. I want to let you know that everybody appreciates you, even though you don't see your name in the paper, that the fans out there know what you're doing, and I know Coach appreciates you as well. So thanks for your time.
Right, thank you.
All right, we're back with Coach Randy Travers. Coach, not only are those heck of players, but they're great kids on top of that. But real fast before we leave and close out the show, I want to get your thoughts on this week's opponent, Lake Minneola High School.
Yeah, well, Lake Minneola, we knew even last year, with them being a first-year school, that they would return all their players. So they return all their starters, very experienced, and boy, they do a great job. They are extremely athletic and with great size and speed. They've got weapons all over the field offensively, and they're really a pressure defensively. So we're going to have our hands full with Lake Minneola this week. Very, very strong opponent.
Well, Coach, I know that the community is excited, and we've been talking about that all year long, and I know that hopefully we're going to have a big swarm of Yellow Jacket fans there in the stands to cheer the Jackets on, and we wish you luck, and we look forward to speaking with you next week about a Yellow Jacket victory.
We certainly hope so. Thank you, Ashley.
All right, well, that concludes this week's show. We want to thank the viewers out there for joining us, and we look forward to them watching next week to recap the game between the Leesburg Yellow Jackets and Lake Minneola High School. This program is made possible in part by a production grant from Phillips Buick GMC.
Want to save money servicing your vehicle? Visit Phillips Buick GMC, your Buick GMC certified service dealer. For oil changes, tire repairs, or maintenance, you get more than fast, reliable service. You get fair pricing and quality work done the first time by factory-trained technicians you can trust. And with 48 service bays, no appointments are necessary. Phillips Buick GMC, your Buick GMC certified service dealer, just south of the Villages.